Hey everyone, thanks for joining me again. Today, well, we've all been here before. Broken bolts, broken studs, you name it. It happens in the most inconvenient times as well. But today we're going to run through a few methods on how to fix this and fix it quick. So before we get started with a few methods on how to fix broken studs like this, I'd just like to say thanks for joining us, thanks for clicking on this video. However, it's just a new channel, so I'd really appreciate it if you could scroll down and click the subscribe button and click the bell to receive all notifications so you're alerted to the next video we do. And also click the share button, copy that link and paste it into your Facebook or your social medias to share with your friends if you like what you're seeing, so you can help this channel grow and I can keep on doing more videos. All right, let's take a look at how we can help out with this. Alright, so you've screwed the pooch on that bolt, forget about it, it's done. Next time you encounter this, before you get started, just remember these two steps: lubricating and rust penetration and heat. These two steps, either separately or together, will often loosen all the stubborn rust and everything that's holding that bolt in too tight. The heat will actually help all this stuff penetrate even further, but often this stuff on its own will get rid of stuck bolts in most cases. So before you move on to having that as your problem, get this stuff onto the scene first. So this is stuff that everyone should have at home on the shelf in their garage, because it will get you out of trouble when you're stuck on the weekend, you need to get the car back in the road and you've broken an exhaust stud. Having this in the garage already ready to go, bang, you've already just saved yourself a trip down to Bunnings, or if you're on a Saturday night and nowhere open, still get the job done before you have to go to the car show on Sunday. So we're going to look at 5 ways you can remove broken studs. Now, this is sort of split down this way, if you can imagine it, that these ones here are for when something is broken off and you can actually grip a hold of it. And these ones are sort of for when the thing is broken off flush. Right, so this group is our sort of mechanical group where if some stud is poking out, you can get onto it. So you've got your vice grips to lock on, locking pliers, so you can lock on to whatever that broken stud is and rip it free. You've got a stud extractor, which works on the same method by gripping onto a stud here and using that mechanical force to rip it through. And this is designed for bolts that have a rounded head, so they've, instead of being a nice normal size 6-sided or 12-sided socket, they look like a sort of a flower design. And so these have flutes that run down not straight, so they really grip onto that rounded off head bolt and help you extract it as well. So in the case of stripped out bolts that still have something poking out, or broken head bolts or whatever that have some of that poking out that you can really grip a hold of, these are what you should go to first. They're the easiest, quickest, most trouble-free methods of removing broken studs or rounded head bolts. But if it's broken flush, or even worse than flush like the one we've got here is, then you have to move on to the next set of method. And the next 3 are these 3. So we have these little babies here, we have a stud extractor set, and we have a welder. So what this allows you to do is drill into the broken stud and then use this end as an extractor. I have to say these are probably my least favourite and something I just don't go to very often, because they work but not great, especially if you're working with hardened studs and things like that. So, you know, if it might be a grade 6 bolt or under, these might be okay if it's really small gauge, but large gauge stuff, especially if it's in there because of rust or something's broken, these aren't my go-to. So I'll whack those ones aside. Next 2 methods are these 2. This method's great, but there are so many steps to it, and as you can see, it's not foolproof. That one's broken. This one's still got something jammed on, and I can't get it off anymore. So you can see here the guide of what it's telling you to do. Basically, it's telling you to drill a hole, use a guide, hammer in one of these, and then use this slip over to turn it out with the spanner. As you can see, that works almost too good sometimes. It ends up getting stuck there, or it doesn't work at all, it gets broken off. So again, this is a good method, however it's not my go-to. The next one is definitely my preferred. So you might remember before we said one of the best preventative maintenance before you get onto having to get to remove broken studs is heat with our torch over there. Well, this is just the absolute supercharged version of that. So what you want to do is the following. So what we're actually going to do is, this stud that's broken off is steel. So steel to steel, obviously we can weld it. So what I normally do is, if you're going to, especially if it's broken off well and truly into the surface, it's going to be very hard to get a nut on it. So the idea is to put a nut on here, weld it on, and then get a spanner on it and turn this out. But as you can see, it's going to be a bit hard to get in there. So what I'll generally do is put a washer, and this one's pretty big. I'd use a much smaller washer. So say you get a washer of that size, put that on there, and then I will weld the stud to that washer. Then what I'll do is I'll weld the nut to that washer, and then I'll turn it out. So I guess talking about it's one thing, but how about I actually show you how I do it? Alright, so there's one more method that is foolproof to fixing a problem, but we'll run through that just at the end. First of all, thanks for joining us. Again, if you liked it, click the thumbs up, comment below, share on social media, and definitely hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned with the videos we've got coming up. I hope this helps you out in future if you weren't aware of some of these methods. It will happen to you if you work on cars for long enough, guaranteed. It's not an indicator of the quality of mechanic you are or the backyarder. Just sometimes bolts snap. It's a real fact of life when you work on cars long enough, unfortunately. It just depends on using these methods to get the job done quick enough. That's why I always go to the welding one 9 out of 10 times, because I know that it just works like that. And yeah, that solves my problem. That last method I was talking about, this one is foolproof and definitely always fixes any problems. Let's show that one, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Right, so I guarantee this method will work 100% of the time.